Welcome everyone to our HomeSmart Business Builder, Become a Database Millionaire. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, coming to you live from the National Association of Realtors, where we actually had a booth here at the convention hall, and we met with all of our HomeSmart agents around the country. We talked to a lot of agents and just told them all about HomeSmart and other brokers as well. So just in a whole week of events and education and just meetings, etc. So pretty neat week for us here at HomeSmart. But I am excited today to have with us on the webinar Bruno Arapovic. So Bruno, thank you so much for being with us today and joining in and for being here. Say hello to everyone.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
All right, great. So real quick, I want to kind of do a little bit of a rundown. If you can go on to the next screen, Adam. I'm having trouble. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about building a database. We're going to talk about expanding your database. We're going to talk about engaging your database and your sphere to really grow your business. And Bruno, I know his story. He's going to have some great tips and tricks for you that are going to really help you with your business. So excited about that. Going on to the next slide. Okay, so building, we're going to cover building, expanding, engaging, but then we're also going to talk about how you harvest them, how you actually turn them into business. For those of you, going on to the next slide, that haven't already signed up, by the way, we've gone through how we've been covering this is by doing Millionaire Mondays with 4 groups of top agents. We had Jay Friedman, we had Samantha Durand, Paula Gallant, Deborah Gianni, which were all here in Boston at the National Association with me 2 days ago. So it was great seeing them in person. We had Deanne Gladwell last week, and today Bruno Arapovic from HomeSmart. So for those of you, going on to the next slide, yeah, if you haven't already signed up, just to let us know so we can send you follow-up notes from this week's broadcast, go to homesmart.com/database-millionaire. And right there, we'll get you signed up. Just put your name, first name, last name, email, and we'll make sure we get all the communications out to all of you. Going on to the next slide here. There's also additional information on those pages, you know, about what we're doing. Go ahead, 2 more slides, I think, Adam. Yeah, so today, this is the last one here, November 5th. We call these Millionaire Mondays, and, you know, just exciting. Thank you all for being here. All right, Adam, let's go ahead to where we get to, oh, we're going to talk about results, right. Go to the next slide. We have a private Facebook group called HomeSmart. It's Smart Agents Ideas. It's a private Facebook group for all of you. Please go share your, you know, your results with all of us, and just let us know what's working. Also, I know Bruno's going to give you some great tips today. So when he does, just go share them with other people and say, I loved it when Bruno said blank, and this is how I'm going to apply it to my business. So anyway. Yeah, I'm getting a note that says, please move this window away from the shared application. Let's see about, hang on, let me try to move something. That it? Not working. All right, something, we got something in the middle screen. There we go. Okay, it's on. Okay, let's talk about becoming Database Millionaire. We do have a quick question. If I registered last week, is there something else I need to register for? No, it's just that we want to make sure we have your email address so we can send you out follow-up notes, you know, communications, and we're going to send out a recap even of what we covered today with Bruno. So if you've already registered before, you're good to go. All right, so as I said earlier, going on to the next slide, we are here in Boston at the National Association of Realtors. Keep on going, Adam. That's a photograph of the team and some of our franchisees who were here earlier in the week. That's a photograph there of the booth when we had, before we started to tear it all down and had LED lights set up. Let's go on to the next slide. I want to talk to you a little bit about Bruno. So Bruno, first off, thank you for being here. But for all of you, I want to talk for a minute about who Bruno is and what he's done. Bruno is one of the hardest working real estate agents and professionals that I know. And he worked hard to build his business, and he did it with a caring attitude and a serving attitude toward his customer. But it wasn't just given to him. He earned every bit of his clientele and of his business. And the reason why we wanted him on the Database Millionaire is because, you know, he started with no business at all. And over the years, he has built a super strong database, a super strong business, and then he works that sphere on a regular basis. So right there is Bruno's. He's a top agent. I think this year his transaction numbers are staggering, but let's just say they're in the hundreds. But anyway, Bruno, thank you for being here. BrunoSellsAZ.com is his website, and arabruno@hotmail.com is his email address. Going on to the next slide, I just got a couple other intro slides for you, Bruno, and then I'll mute myself. I went and Googled Bruno, and it was amazing because all of this information on Bruno came up. He's obviously done a great job with his marketing, with his SEO, and everything. Going on to the next slide. He has a great rating on Zillow. He has a great profile. You guys can go check him out, copy his, you know, thoughts and, you know, his bio, etc. You know, learn from him. Go on to the next slide. He has a great website. One of the things that I thought was so cool, I just took a screenshot here of his website, but he's got a little thing there on his headline where it tells about sell your home faster and for more money. And if you go on to the next slide, right underneath it, you'll see how the let me handle the pricing. Go back one more slide now. You can see that he changes what it is it automatically types, selling a home for top dollar is a lot of work. And it says, let me handle the strategy. Let me handle the photography. Let me handle the pricing. Let me handle the staging. Let me handle blah, blah, blah. So it's a neat little gift that he has on his website. Go to his website and check it out. Pretty cool. He also has awesome success stories. He has testimonials up on his site. And then he uses this with his database, you know, to engage his clientele. One more slide, Adam, real quick. He posts news stories. He's been on the news before. He's Bruno famous and, you know, been on the news. I was just trying to make you laugh. That's all. But, and he posts his news stories on his website too. So, so without further ado, go on. I think, Adam, I think we're on to the next build slide. So I'm going to mute myself because of all the background noise, but Bruno, thank you so much for being here today, talking to all our agents, and tell them about how many years you've been in the business now? Is it 14 or 15?
January will be 15 years.
Wow. And 15 years ago, you had a database of 0 or 1 or 2 people. And today you have a big, vibrant database. So tell us how you got started. Let's talk about building first. How did you build your database?
So yeah, I literally started with 0. I actually started as a loan officer right after I graduated college. Couldn't get any other jobs, and that was the only thing that kind of came. And so I started with as a loan officer, and then from there built my small database over the next few years, and then I decided to get my real estate license as well because I really wanted to understand the entire industry, from mortgages to buying, flipping, to just doing retail real estate. And so I built a small database of my just mortgage customers, and once I got my license through friends and families and my sphere of influence, I started really slowly building up my real estate database as well. And that's how it all started.
Hang on, sorry if I had to unmute myself. So that's awesome. And how many people do you think you have right now in your sphere and then also in your database?
You know, it's tough to say because I do it a little bit differently. I think I can probably come up with thousands of people that I met over the 15 years. However, in my database, I really only save people with whom I've interacted with, people that I've sold homes to, potential clients. And so they know of me. They don't feel that I'm sending them just junk emails. And so they're more likely to respond. They're more likely to send me their friends and family. And so I really focus on that. So my database is probably around 500 people, which is, like I said, not as many as you would think. But they're all clients that I worked with in the past.
Right, but your sphere is much bigger. You know so many more people, but that's a common trait that I've heard throughout doing these business builders is, you know, your sphere is a larger number, but your database, you know, you kind of really in your database only have your past customers, people that you know, your tight sphere because you want it to be authentic and you want it to be real, right?
That's how I feel about it because I get so many emails from different companies asking for business, and it's literally junk mail. And so I try to avoid that. When I meet people, I don't just put them in my database. I talk to them. If I connect with them, I make sure that they have my contact info in their phone. Not a big fan of giving out my business cards out because once you give them out, if you're not in their cell phone when they need you in 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, chance of them having your business card right there and then in their pocket is probably slim to none. So you have to be in their cell phone. And so those are the ones that I really keep in touch with. I try to get in their contacts and so basically stay in front of them all the time.
Yeah, so agents that are watching this, please write that down as a takeaway. I thought that was really interesting. You know, he talks about, I was asking him about, you know, what he does. Does he give out business cards? What does he do? And he said, you know, and I never thought of it like that before. He said, I have a drawer full of business cards or they're in the trash can. And so what I do is I make sure I am in their phone. So it's almost like you text them right away somehow, or, you know, make sure you're in their phone, or you call them and say, save that number, you know, because then you are in their phone. Once you're in their phone, they can find you. And I can't tell you how many times I've looked for somebody before and I can't find their business card. If they're in my phone, I go find them. So that was a little bit of an aha for me. And I think that's a great point when you're talking about building a database in a sphere and how powerful your phone is, or their phone, right?
Exactly. So it's just convenience. I mean, everybody gets bombarded with so many advertisements and emails, and so you just have to be in front of them. And so then if you just meet somebody, they're not just going to put you in the phone unless you have some kind of relationship with them already. So it's up to you to develop that by following up by email, phone call, text message, and then jokingly even ask them, am I not in your cell phone yet? And you have to get in there.
Right, that's great. So what, you know, because we're talking about building here, what do you use? Do you use software? Do you just use your phone? Do you use a combination of your phone and paper? Do you use Excel? Do you know, like, how do you organize your database and your information?
I use combinations. So for example, to be more authentic and more on a personal level with customers, I try to remember little details about them, that, well, their birthdays, their anniversaries, kids' names, pet names. If they had a surgery, I put it on my phone to follow up with them, to even a day before, to wish them good luck and call them afterwards. Those are the things that people remember. And so you can't just always ask for business. So I use my cell phone to enter the dates and get notifications before birthdays, anniversaries, and things like that. I also use, it's called iExec Contact. It's, I pay, it's just under $400 a year, but it's really a e-newsletter, and that goes out once a month just to keep in front of everybody. And they have really good context and great letters and recommendations, and it's it's worked for me. And I had a lot of customers who would just reply back to me and give me compliments on it, or even just say, hey, Bruno, great to hear from you. I'm looking to buy or sell a home. Just happened to me just a couple of days ago, actually, when it went out beginning of the month. So those are really the two big items that I use and that really works for me.
Yeah, so you not only put them into your phone as a contact, but you're putting it into your calendar and setting up a notification maybe the day before or a week before, or how in advance do you set a notification? Do you do it a couple days before so you can make sure you get a note in the mail to them, or what do you do?
It depends. So I mean, when you have a smaller database, when I first started, I would put a week in advance because I would mail a card to everyone, and then I'll have enough time to follow up and for that to be delivered. Now I basically, at some point, about 20% of your customers will give you most of your business, right? 80% of your business. So I focus on that 20. And so to them, I will, it depends. Sometimes I'll put a notification a week in advance so I can have enough time to mail a card, but definitely the day off, because then I will call them or text them, and just so they know that I remember them. And it's again, it's little things that really matter.
Right. Someone asked a question online here. They said, when you are having your customers or your prospects putting you in their phone, mm-hmm. What do you have them put you under? Like how do you have them put you into the home?
Bruno Realtor.
Bruno Realtor.
Yep. So this way, if they ever search their phone for a realtor, my name will pop up. Hopefully they'll remember my name. It's a little bit unique, but
right. Yeah, that's great actually, because everybody does use the search engine, the search feature in the phone, and probably search realtor, or Bruno. But that's awesome. All right, let's go on and do you have anything else on building that you want to share, or do you want to move on to talking about expanding and growing your database?
Well, I think it's connected. So for example, now for the holiday, I think it's important this is your time to shine. You can't ask your clients or potential clients to give you business and referrals, because everybody does that. You need to show them a benefit, help them grow. And for example, not Thanksgiving, but Halloween, you can deliver little pumpkins, especially if you have a small database. I used to deliver those small little pumpkins. I think they're $2 at Fry's. And so I just put on them Boo, and I'll put my card in the back, and I would deliver them to their doorsteps, and then I'll follow up the next day just to make sure that they got it. And it's great to open conversations, or most of the time they would call me and thank me, and it starts from there. But you're really building the trust, the relationship, and when you have that, the referral, they come on their own. Love it.
Okay, how do you grow? How did you grow and expand your database? Like, if I'm an agent right now and I want to kind of plant more seeds, fill up my pipeline, what's an idea or two about how agents can expand a database?
Right. Well, there's no quick fix. If you're starting, you can pay thousands of dollars and go to realtor.com and Zillow and all this stuff and buy those leads. You're then competing against everybody out there, and you might or might not get some. I've never paid for any of those. To me, it takes a little bit longer to build it the way I've done it, but I feel they're good, loyal customers. And so I do by little things, by remembering their birthdays, remembering their surgery, delivering little pumpkins for Christmas. I will mail them ornaments, and I'll put their last name in the back. I will handwrite that, and I would just mail it to them. And then the customers would send me a little picture. I would engage them. And so they would send me pictures that they received it. It's on their Christmas tree. And so you're just really building trust with them. And so I would constantly be in their face and ask them to go meet me for lunch or coffee, and build that relationship. And once you really have that down, they will start sending you business. But to me, what I figured out is if you're trying to get more leads, rather than going to individuals, what has worked for me also is you can help other small business owners. You're an entrepreneur here, and so you can't just go one by one. It'll take you forever to build a database. You can go to your local coffee shop or bagel shop, your CPA, your mechanic, anybody. They're also small business owners, and so you can't go and ask for them to give you referrals. What I've done is you go out there and you help them solve one of their problems. Okay, you help them grow their business. You bring them another account. If they're a mechanic, you bring them another account, a small corporate account, for example. When you help them grow their business, those guys already have developed relationships with their own customers, and they'll refer you to everybody else. And if they do mailers, you can do a little card on their website or whatever they allow you to do, mailers. And now all of a sudden you go into their customers. That can be 500, it can be 5,000 of them. And again, it takes a while to build the trust, but once you help somebody out, it's inevitable they will come back to you. You can't expect anything in return, it'll just happen.
Right, but that reciprocal marketing, that is authentic. And that's, again, that's about being real, right? And helpful.
Right,
and I think that's a great.
It's free. You don't have to pay for that. You just have to go out of your way. You have to work hard on developing those relationships. You go out there and you ask them, how can I help you grow your business? And they're going to look at you like you're crazy. What do you mean? Nobody asked them that. Everybody goes there and asks them, can I put my business cards on your countertop?
Right. Right.
Those people never get business.
That's a great approach. I love it. I love it. Someone asked real quick again, what was the contact management system you used to send out emails? Is it IXACT?
Yes.
Is that how it's spelled? Okay. Okay, so IXACT contact. I'll type it into the panelists. But okay, so I love that idea about working with other businesses and expanding and growing. If you look at 5 years ago in your business, where did the majority of your business come from your database? Like, what marketing were you doing?
Just this, what I was just telling you. And then prior to that, it was basically when the market was really, really bad, and I was getting a lot of my business from the REOs. During that time, I was doing $50,000 properties, $100,000 properties, but no deal was too little. You just never know who is going to see your listings. And I have literally picked up customers from $100,000 and $130,000 properties that ended up living in PV and selling multi-million-dollar home, and as well as having multiple rental properties. But when you get that listing, doesn't matter if it's a $100,000 listing or $1 million listing, I always do the best I can. I hire a professional photographer. If it's a vacant home, I introduce them to a stager, for example, and help them accomplish their goal, really.
Okay, so engagement, if we move on to slide number 3 here, engagement, do you do much social media? Do you do texting? How often do you phone call? What are you doing to really engage your sphere?
I do some Facebook, probably should do more of that. When I have new listings, I post them on there. But mostly, like I said, I use iExact Contact to just be at least once a month in front of all of them, because I just cannot get to all of them every month. I should, but the 20% of them, I'll call them and I'll text them just a quick hello, and just so they remember me. So I use a lot of that. Just very personal relationship. So they don't always feel every time I reach out to them, I'm asking for referrals. I'm really trying to build a good relationship so they feel comfortable referring me to their friends and family. And I want to be the first one to mind when the time comes. So yeah, texting and just simply calling, saying hello.
Someone here asked a question. They said, how do you track or decide who the 20% is?
How do you track or decide? Well, I mean, after some time, you will see who is giving you the business, or when you talk to them, you can tell whether or not they're willing to refer you out. If they even if they don't refer me business necessarily, but they're talking about me, they're willing to share my name with others. That to me is a 20%. And I mean, just by following up with them, and time will tell, basically. There's no really way for me, at least, to track it properly who is at 20%. So.
Right. One thing I've noticed about a lot of your marketing is it has a very clean, upscale look. Do you do that marketing yourself, or do you work with a designer? How do you create such good marketing?
Definitely not myself. I mean, most of the stuff that I've done, I would just reach out to a tele company, one of the tele companies, and I would ask him to design it. That's probably 99% of the time the way I do it. The other one, a printing company, that I've used, and I asked them once to do it, so I've done a lot of input myself. But typically, it's just a tele company, and I asked them to help me design it.
Right. Do you do calendars every year? Do you do like, I know you say you have your newsletter, you're doing that every single month, but do you do calendars? Do you do anything else that are seasonal other than the pumpkins?
Well, for Christmas, I'll send them, like I said, ornaments, but not steadily. Probably should do that. But in the last few years, I've been just so busy that I haven't. But again, I don't know that I would necessarily do calendars, because everybody does the same marketing. I think you need to do something that's more personalized for people to stand out. If you just do the same thing that everybody else does, you're gonna end up in a trash can.
Right. So what are some of your favorite marketing things, that you do that are unique, other than ones you've already talked about? Because I remember when we were talking before the call, you were talking, do you do postcards? You do postcards at all?
I do thank you cards. I do just like handwritten cards. I think that's really important. Sometimes just right after the transaction, or sometimes even just to say hello. I forgot about that. Yes, so I do handwritten cards. I think that's important. That's really, I mean, I keep it really simple. I don't use anything fancy or anything expensive. Pretty simple and straightforward.
They ask, are the handwritten cards branded with your info, or are they just like store bought at a Hallmark and a store?
Yep, they're bought at wherever I'm at. Fry's, Safeway, Target, wherever. I did do also fancier ones during the holidays time where my name is nicely printed. I've done that as well, but that's typically for Christmas time. But just a regular thank you cards, they are just from a basic store.
Adam, going on to point number 4, harvesting. What makes you different when you're meeting with a buyer or a seller in your presentation? Like, do you feel like you're doing anything very unique that other agents aren't doing that really works?
No, I don't feel that I'm doing anything unique. It's pretty straightforward. It's actually really simple, probably less than some people do. I think it's just when you go in front of people, you have to really listen to what they want. You can't just have your presentation and just stick to it. You have to listen to what they want, give them what they're looking for, and really engage with them. You have to be confident, professional, well-spoken. And so that's really it. You just need to, because when you're meeting with people, you even if it's referrals from your friends, they interview anywhere from between 3 and 5 different people. And so why are they going to choose you? So I think you have to be very professional, straight to the point, and listen to what they want and make them feel like they're part of a team. You're doing this together. You can't just lock them in a contract and say, okay, I got you now. You're good for 6 months and I'll get back to you, and then never follow up with them. So.
Right. Okay. So, we just kind of covered the whole, 4 steps. You got to build, you got to organize, you got to expand it, you have to engage it, and then obviously harvest it and plant the seeds. So, do you have any last, how many transactions are you going to do this year, approximately? Like what are you on track for? You're over?
I'm over 200 already, so I'll probably be somewhere now below hundreds, I would think.
All right. Okay, great. I just wanted everybody to know that, you're talking about things that every agent can do. And that was just one thing that struck me when I was talking to you. You were like, I started with nothing. In a way too, I've built a business without spending money because I chose to go the database route and build my sphere and build my database rather than just trying to spend money to get business in. So I guess I want people to be encouraged by just that they can do it too. And that someday, you never know, you knock on it. You talked about knocking on 100 doors and you never know when that door is going to open. So, yeah.
I mean, eventually you can spend obviously money on marketing, you can put it in a paper, you can market in an area, but if you're just starting, you don't have the budget for it, that's a tough way to do it. Eventually, once you have your database built up and you start making a little bit of money, then you can focus on a certain area and do from open houses to just basic Facebook marketing, and then eventually you can do everyday direct mails, everyday direct mailers, as well as maybe even paper, but that gets expensive then. And that's long term. You can do that for a year or two and barely get any customers. But it takes a while to build.
Right. So, do you have one favorite thing, or do you have one thing that you wish you would like every agent to do to grow their business? One piece of advice, one marketing idea.
Well, we mentioned it briefly earlier. I think you need to go out of your way to help others, whether it's an individual or a small business, succeed. You have to help them succeed, accomplish their own goals, and then it's inevitable, and it's human nature. They will go out of their way to help you. It takes time, but once you're in, you're in. And then once you get those customers, I think reviews are very, very important, especially these days. Everybody's reading those reviews. So I have a free Zillow account, and anytime I sell a home, I help somebody purchase a home, I ask them to leave me a positive 5-star review on there. And they do. And so when you go to the next meeting, your clients will read through that. And it makes it feel more comfortable.
Right. Yeah, couple questions being typed in. Do you do client appreciation parties, events, anything like that?
I haven't.
Okay.
I've thought about it, but in the last year, honestly, I just didn't have the time to do it. But I did think about it. I was actually going to team up with a financial advisor, somewhere like that, and kind of do it together, but just haven't done yet. But I think that would be a great idea, yes.
Okay. Do you have an assistant to help with anything, or do you do it all yourself?
I have 3 full-time assistants that do everything paperwork-wise. I just try to focus on building my clients, doing contracts and negotiations, really.
Yeah, you use a transaction coordinator, correct? Do you?
No, I have 3 assistants, so they do.
Okay, gotcha. Got it. Okay. Well, your story, like 15 years in the business, anything else you want to add to the group? Tell them how you got where you are.
That's really it. I mean, just stay positive. It's not going to happen overnight. Just treat people well and they will treat you well in return. I mean, it's that simple. It takes time. There's no quick fix. You sign up for this big website, you start spending thousands of dollars, and then I haven't done that, and I've heard positive and negative reviews about that. But if you have extra money to spare, I suppose you can try that. I just never have. I like it the longer route. I feel it's building a home out of bricks rather than toothpicks.
Right. That's great. All right. Well, thank you, Bruno. I really appreciate you, especially with as busy as you are, taking the time here to share your story with all of our agents. Adam, let's go on and let's talk real quick about, call to action. I guess, this week, what are we going to do? I mean, you just heard Bruno talk about hard work and doing things, and you can either do nothing, go on, flip through the next couple slides. Yeah, you can do nothing. You can focus on just doing a couple things 2 hours a day, and just focus on one thing, or you focus on all four aspects 2 hours a day. So, Bruno, how do you make sure you do that on a regular basis and you don't just get caught up in your transactions? How do you make sure you're constantly every week doing marketing?
You have to be committed. You just cannot afford to take your foot off the gas pedal, because if you do, you're gonna build it up, and then once you are done for the month, you're starting back from scratch. So it doesn't matter how busy you are. You have to prospect. You have to make those phone calls, send those cards out, talk to other agents, and I just do it. At this time, I made it a habit. So
yeah. How many hours a week do you think you do that?
Wow. I've never measured that because I feel like I'm every day doing something, and so I've never really measured it. I just
you just do it.
I just do it.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'll take that back. Maybe it's not every day. When I'm busy, I just don't get to it or forget. But
right.
Multiple times a week. Whenever I have a breather, I email somebody or text somebody or call them to say hi.
Right. That's awesome. All right. So Adam, let's go on. Let's talk about this week's winner. So every week we do a drawing of those that are participating. And this week's winner, I don't even know who it is till I see the next slide. So let's go. We have Leslie Karatis from HomeSmart Professionals in Rhode Island. All right. Leslie, congratulations. The marketing team's going to get with you and make sure that you receive your prize this week. But for those of you who want to add Leslie into your database for referrals in Rhode Island, there's her email address and her mobile number. But congratulations. So going on to the next slide, let's go build our database in our sphere. Bruno, thank you so much for sharing your story with our agents.
You're welcome.
Look forward to seeing you in March at our national event, because I'm sure you're going to be right up there with the award winners nationally. So what a phenomenal year. Keep it up.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Sorry for all the noise and cranes moving in the background. Right here's our HomeSmart booth being delivered. So there we go. But I'm signing off. Todd Sumney, HomeSmart International. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.